Hi everyone and welcome back to GK Today. I am Sia and in this session we are discussing the last day current affairs from 6th of July to 12th of July 2025, right? And all these questions they are part of daily 20 MCQ series in GK Today Android app. Here we go with the first one. Which country has become the first Caribbean country to adopt India's UPI, the Unified Payments Interface? So we all know recently PM Narendra Modi was on visit of five nations and one of the nation that is T&T, Trinidad and Tobago, recently agreed to adopt India's UPI, the flagship digital payment platform from India implemented in 2016. Overall, both countries agreed to explore further cooperation on India's tech solution like DigiLocker, eSign, and the government e-marketplace. Point to be remembered, TND recently requested India's support to digitize and upgrade its state land registration system as well. And with this question, here we are discussing the major MOUs that was the part of this recent visit. So, the major agreement include Indian Pharmacopoeia MOU, cultural exchange between both of the country. The target year basically 2025 to 2028. Here we are discussing two major organizations because recently TNT agreed to join Indian origin organization and they are the CDRI and Biofuel Alliance. So the new member of CDRI and that is the TNT, the Caribbean nation. Here we are discussing the CDRI and the Biofuel Alliance. Basically, CDRI it stands for Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. It was launched in 2019 by PM Modi at the UN Climate Action Summit. Point to be remember, it is Indian organization, the international organization that is implemented by India in 2019. And basically, the type basically it is the international coalition among countries, UN agencies, private sector, and major academics. Its headquarters that is located at New Delhi. The objective of CDRI basically to promote disaster resilient infrastructure globally, right? And the other one that is the Biofuel Alliance. Basically, it was also launched by India on the sidelines of the 2023 G20 summit in New Delhi. And the initiative aims to position biofuels as a key to the energy transition and contribute to jobs and economic growth. Overall, you have to remember the first Caribbean country to adopt UPI, and that is the T and the Trinidad and Tobago. And what is its capital? Basically, the capital of TNT, and that is Port of Spain. Basically, TNT it is the group of two islands, and the capital Port of Spain it is located in the Trinidad Island, and the countries that are the part of the Five Nation Tour, including Ghana, Namibia, Argentina, Brazil, and the last one, TN. Hope this question was clear. Moving on, the next one. Which state or UT has become the first in India to include screening for tuberculosis patients under the initiative of Family Adoption Program. So basically, here we are discussing a UT that recently adopted screening for TB under its initiative of Family Adoption Program, and that is the Puducherry. So recently, Puducherry became the first state to include TB screening under the family adoption program where medical students adopt families for community outreach. Medical students screen all family members for TB and help with diagnosis and treatment if symptoms are found. Overall, the National Medical Commission made it mandatory for students to adopt 3 and 5 some families and follow them for next 3 years. Overall, here we are discussing the TB, the tuberculosis. Basically, what is the bacteria that is the cause of TB, and that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Point to be remembered. And here we are discussing the UT, and that is Puducherry. The first thing that came into my mind about Puducherry, and that is the European power that had established their factory in Puducherry, and that is the Portuguese. Overall, a major constitutional amendment act that is associated with Puducherry, and that is the 14th Constitutional Amendment Act 1962 that incorporated Puducherry into the Indian Union. Point to be remembered. And hope this question was clear. Moving on, the next one. Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam that was recently seen in news is built on which river? So basically here we are discussing a major dam, and that is GERD. Recently it was in news because recently the PM of Ethiopia announced the GERD is complete. Overall, the dam previously known as Millennium Dam and is located on the Blue Nile River. The most important point. Exactly, it is located in Ethiopia's Benishangul Gumuz region near the border with Sudan, and the Blue Nile is a major tributary of Nile River here. Overall, you have to remember its location. Basically, it is on the Blue Nile River and on the Benishangul Gumuz region. Other than this, we are discussing the Ethiopia. Basically, it is the second most populous country of the Africa continent, exactly located in the Horn of Africa and sharing its coastal line with the Indian Ocean, further with Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. And basically, it's shared its boundary with Eritrea, Djibouti, Sudan, Somalia, and the Kenya. And point to be remembered, a major ethnic group that is associated with Ethiopia, and that is Amhara. That is second largest of the Ethiopia. Overall, its capital, and that is the Addis Ababa. Right? Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a helicopter that recently procured by the Indian Army, and from which country we will discuss. So Apache AH-64E attack helicopter was developed by which country? So basically they are developed by the Boeing, a US based defense manufacturing organization. Overall, recently, the Indian Army will receive its first Apache AH-64E attack helicopters from the US. And basically, the Apache, it is the most advanced multi-role combat helicopter. It can fly 300 km per hour and has a range of 500 kilometers. And basically, it has advanced system for communication, navigation, sensors, and the weapon system. Overall, here we are discussing Boeing. Previously, it was in news just because of the Daydreamer airplane crash that is associated with Ahmedabad plane crash. Overall, their headquarters, that is also important. It is located in Virginia, the US state. So, point to be remember the headquarters, and that is Virginia of Boeing, and it is US based defense manufacturing company. Commercial and defense aircraft they are making. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a vaccine, and that is dengue. And recently, vaccine developed for which disease? And that is answer is option number C, dengue. So recently, India reached 50% enrollment in its phase third clinical trial of the indigenous dengue vaccine, and that is dengue all. Point to remember, dengue all is developed by the Panacea Biotech Limited under a license from the National Institute of Health US. So the manufacturing body is Panacea Biotech Limited for the vaccine dengue all, and that is for dengue. Overall, the ICMR is assessing the vaccine safety and effectiveness. And where is the headquarters of Panacea Biotech Limited? And basically, they are located in New Delhi, Indian-based pharmaceutical organization it is. Moving on, the next one. Which state has become the third state in India to cross 1 crore registered investor as per National Stock Exchange data? So basically, here we are discussing a major data that is released by the National Stock Exchange NSE, and the first state that achieved the third rank in India to cross 1 crore registered investor, and that is by Gujarat recently. So recently, Gujarat became the third Indian state to cross 1 crore registered investor as per National Stock Exchange data, and the first and second position holder, and they are Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. Overall, these three states together form 36% of India's total investor base, showing their big role in equity market. Overall, a point: what year was the National Stock Exchange of India established? Basically, it is a PYQ, and that year is 1992. Currently, their headquarters at Mumbai, India, and it is the first dematerialized electronic exchange in country, and that is the NSE, National Stock Exchange. And recently, uh, they has given the third rank to Gujarat in a category of registered investor, right? Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing the sports news, and that is associated with Khelo India Water Sport Festival, the fifth game in the series of Khelo India. So recently, which city is the host of Khelo India Water Sports Festival 2025? And that city is option number C, Srinagar. So recently, the first Khelo India Water Sports Festival, they will take place at Srinagar from August 21 and 23, recently announced by the sports minister, and that's why it was in news. Overall, this event follows the Khelo India Beach Games currently held in Deep in May, and it includes five sports. Very important. Khelo India water sports include five sports, including kayaking, canoeing, rowing, water skiing, and shikara racing. This will be the fifth Khelo India event in 2025 after the Winter Games, Para Games, Youth Games, and the Beach Games. And lastly, we had a discussion on Khelo India University game as well. And now the Khelo India Water Sports, and they will be hosted by the Srinagar in August. Here we are discussing some former versions of Khelo India, the first one, and that is the Khelo India University. So currently, Khelo India University 2025 edition was in news because recently Rajasthan University achieved the hosting rights for Khelo India University game, and it will be the fifth edition of Khelo India University Games. Here we are discussing the Khelo India Youth Games. Recently, the seventh edition, and it was hosted by the Bihar in May, and basically the top state that has achieved the first rank in Khelo India Youth Game, and that is the Maharashtra with 158 medal, including 56 gold, right? Next, here we are discussing the Khelo India Winter Games 2025. It was fifth edition, and currently co-hosted by the Leh Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir in phase 1 and phase 2 manner. And the champions are Indian Army with 7 gold, 5 silver, and 6 bronze. And it is this Khelo India Winter Game 2025 fifth edition, right? And the next one is the last Khelo India Para Games, currently hosted by Delhi, and the winner of Khelo India Para Games, and that is the Haryana with 34 gold, followed by Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. Overall, Khelo India, when was the Khelo India program launched in India? And that year is 2018. Moving on, the next one. Who has become the first woman to be streamed into the fighter stream of naval aviation? So here we are discussing the first women into the fighter stream of Indian Navy, and that is Sub Lieutenant Astha Punia. Recently, she became the first Indian to enter the fighter stream of naval aviation, marking a historic first for the Indian Navy. Overall, she was awarded the prestigious Wing of Gold along with Lieutenant Atul Kumar Dhul at INS Dega Vishakhapatnam. Basically, INS Dega Vishakhapatnam, it is one of the Indian Navy base located in Andhra Pradesh. And this highlights the Indian Navy commitment to gender equality and promoting Nari Shakti, meaning women empowerment. Overall, you have to remember the name of Astha Punia, the first women into the fighter stream of naval aviation. Moving on, the next one. Which country has become the first to formally recognize the Taliban government in Afghanistan? So, groundbreaking news, and that is from Russia. Recently, Russia became the first country to formally recognize the Taliban government in Afghanistan since it took power in 2021. And Russia removed the Taliban from its list of outlawed organization. And recently, the Russian foreign minister accepted credential from Afghanistan's newly appointed ambassador, and that is Gul Hussain, right? Overall, the other countries, including US, UK, India, and the United Nations as well, have denied recognition of Taliban government just because of human rights and women empowerment role. And the step from Russia, and that maybe he want to influence the South and Central Asian countries and want to influence the Western world. And that's why, to influence the Western, he recently recognized the Taliban government in Afghanistan. Right? Moving on, the next one, and that is the first of its kind initiative. India's first equine disease free compartment is located in which city? So basically, here we are discussing the EDFC, equine disease free compartment for Indian horse, so that they can participate in the Olympics and they can visit the other countries as a tourist? And the answer is option number B, Meerut, Uttar Pradesh. So recently, India achieved global recognition for its first equine disease free compartment at the Remount Veterinary Corps Center located at Meerut in Uttar Pradesh. And recently, the recognition, the World Organization for Animal and Health approved the facility on 3rd of July for this Indian initiative. Overall, the EDFC, what is its role? It enables Indian sport horses to travel and compete internationally by meeting global biosecurity and animal health standards. Overall, here we are discussing a major animal based organization, and that is the World Organization for Animal Health, WOAH. Exactly, their establishment year was 1924. And recently, one of their report was in news, and that is State of the World's Animal Health Report. It is published by the World Organization for Animal Health. Make sense? All right. Now here we are discussing the current affairs of 8th of July, and they are with the first one. Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla recently interacted with students from the International Space Station using which radio service? So a radio service, and that is option number A, amateur radio, also known as ham radio. So recently the Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla interacted with students from the International Space Station using ham radio, also known as amateur radio. Basically, it is a licensed radio service using radio waves for communication. It is used for education, knowledge sharing, and emergency. It needs a antenna, a dedicated frequency, and transmitter operated by licensed ham operators. Overall, communication can be local, global, or in space. And recently, Shubhanshu Shukla became the second Indian to enter the space after Rakesh Sharma. Overall, here we are discussing a major mission by Axiom Space, that is a commercial US based space organization. And currently, their mission, and that is the Axiom Mission 4, a 14-day mission for the International Space Station on SpaceX Dragon. Overall, the other crew members of Axiom Mission 4, exactly they are the commander Peggy Whitson from USA and Slavos Ujaransky from Poland, and the last one Tibor Kapu from Hungary. So recently, Shubhanshu Shukla was in news just because of the amateur radio and his interaction with the students of India. Moving on, the next one. The term Grimitias, recently mentioned in news, refers to which group of people? So basically, here we are discussing a term, and that is recently mentioned by our PM Modi, and that is Girmitias. And basically, it stands for the Indian endangered laborers sent to British colonies in some 19th and 18th century. Overall, recently PM highlighted the success of Girmitia's descendants, focusing on their achievement rather than struggle. Girmitias were Indian endangered laborers who left India in the 19th century to work in British colonies. The term Girmitia comes from the word Girmit, an Indian pronunciation of agreement it is basically. And these laborers signed agreement hoping for better wages and jobs. They traveled on old slave ships and lived in poor slave like barracks. They faced a practice called blackbirding, meaning forced or deceptive recruitment for cheap labor abroad. Overall, the Gurmitia labor system refers to endangered laborers from British India. These laborers were transported to British colonies like Fiji, Trinidad, Mauritius during the 19th and 20th century. Here a question for you, and that is basically here I am giving you two statements. Consider the following statement regarding the Girmitia labor system. The first one, it refers to indentured laborers from British India who were transported to various British colonies to work on plantation in 19th and early 20th century. And the second statement, and that is the Girmitia labor system was primarily a response to Britain's policy to expand Indian overseas trade. Which of the following statement is or are correct? Basically, you have to identify both of the statement and mention the correct statement in the comment box. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a virus that is Nipah, the fetal virus, and currently we do not have vaccine for Nipah virus. It is in making process. And recently, which species is a natural host of Nipah virus that was recently reported in Kerala? And that is option number B, fruit bat. Basically, the natural host, the pig is also. So, fruit bat and pig both are the natural host of Nipah virus. And recently, the Kerala Health Minister confirmed 425 people are on Nipah virus contact list across the state. Basically, Nipah virus, it is an emerging zoonotic virus spreading from animal to humans. It can also spread through contaminated food or directly from person to person. Fruit bat and pig are its natural host. Overall, first outbreak of Nipah virus that was recorded in some 1909 in Malaysian fig farmers, and in India their first outbreak was some in West Bengal, Siliguri. The year was 2001 and then reappeared in 2007 and in 2023, and the region is Kerala only. Currently, some question we are discussing that is associated with Nipah virus, and the first one. Recently, the Institute of Advanced Virology was in news because recently they developed non-infectious virus-like particles to form a drug, a vaccine for Nipah virus. Basically, they are based at Kerala in India. And the second one, current affair that is related with Oxford University, because recently they started human trials for Nipah vaccine funded by CEP. So the first university institute in world that has initiated human trials for the vaccine of Nipah virus, and that is the Oxford University only. Point to be remembered. And recently the ICMR was also in news just because of Nipah virus, the Indian Council of Medical Research, because currently they are expanding mobile BSL-3 lab, also known as Ramban, under the Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission for the Nipah virus solution. Overall, a very important point. Ramban was first used in 2023 during Kerala outbreak as a lab on wheels. So its first use, and that is for Nipah virus by the ICMR, right? Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a major Kendra, and that is Vandhan Vikas Kendra. And recently they were set up by the Andaman and Nicobar Islands Administration, for which tribe? Basically, all these tribes are from Andaman and Nicobar Island, and you have to identify the tribe that is related with Van Dhan Vikas Kendra, and that is option number D, Ongi tribe. So recently, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands administration set up a Van Dhan Vikas Kendra for the Ongi tribe at Dugong Creek under the Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyay Abhiyan. Overall, its implementing ministry is Ministry of Tribal Affairs, whose current cabinet minister is Jwal Oram. And the Ongis, basically, they are a semi-nomadic, primitive tribal living on Little Andaman Island, relying on natural food resource. And recently, for their self-employment, the government of India has initiated Van Dhan Vikas Kendra. Moving on, the next one. And now we are discussing a major mountain just because of recent eruption. It was in news, and that is Mountain Shinmoitke. And currently it was in news and is located in which country? And that country is Japan. Basically, it is an active stratovolcano located in Kagoshima Prefecture of Japan and exactly on Kyushu Island of Japan. And just because of recent ash plume into the sky, it was in news. Its height is 1420.8 meter high, and the volcano is known for its frequent eruption and unique geological feature. Overall, you have to remember its location, and that is Kyushu Island, Japan, and the state, the prefecture is Kagoshima. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a major report analysis, and that is from World Bank and the rank of India in it. So according to World Bank report, what is the rank of India in global income equality? And here fourth rank as per World Bank report. So recently a World Bank report ranked India fourth in the world for income equality with a Gini index of 25.5 only. And the better countries, basically they are Slovenia, Belarus, and the Slovak Republic as per the World Bank, because they have better equality indicators, better Gini index score. Overall, the other countries like China, it is at 35.7 Gini score. The US, it is at 41.8 Gini score. Overall, the Gini index measure income, wealth, or consumption inequality with 0 as a perfect equality and 100 as a maximum inequality, and recently given India the fourth rank as per the global income equality by the World Bank. Overall, World Bank, it is one of the twin organization, and the other one, and that is the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and their establishment here, basically it was founded in 1944. Their headquarters is located at Washington DC in USA, and currently the president of World Bank, and that is Indian origin, Ajay Banga it is. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a sport news, and that is Durant Cup, and its 134 edition in 2025. So Durant Cup, basically it is associated with which sport, and that is football. Durant Cup, basically it is Asia's oldest and world's third oldest football tournament, and currently it's 134 edition. It was in news because it is starting from 4th of July at Rashtrapati Bhavan Cultural Center, and the tournament, basically it represents India's football heritage and the role of Indian armed forces in the sport. And basically the first Durant Cup, and that year is 1888, and in honor of whom is the Durant Cup named, and that is Mortimer Durant, point to be remembered, right? Moving on, the next one. Moving on, now we are discussing a major conference that is on sustainable and responsible mining, and 2025 edition it is, and the current host city, and that was option number C, Hyderabad. Basically, Hyderabad, we all know it is the capital of Telangana, and the current CM of Telangana, and that is the Revanth Reddy. So recently, the Indian National Committee of the World Mining Congress held an international conference on sustainable and responsible mining through best mine closure practices in Hyderabad. Overall, the event focused on sustainable and responsible mining practices and brought together policymakers, industry leaders, environmental experts, academy, and stakeholders from India and abroad so that they can focus on sustainable mine closure and sharing global best practices. Overall, the mining Congress, the conference, and the current host city, and that was Hyderabad, the capital of Telangana. Moving on the next one. So here we are discussing the BRICS Summit 2025. Currently it was 17th edition and that was hosted by the Brasilia, the capital of Brazil. And currently the PM Modi was on tour of 5 nations just because of the BRICS Summit and the host country, and that is the Brazil. So Brazil hosted the 17th edition of 2025 in Rio de Janeiro, where leaders discussed stronger cooperation. Overall, the summit was overshadowed by the new tariff policies of the US President Donald Trump and the policies from European Union, and that is the CBAM, basically carbon leakage tariff it is. So the group expressed their concern about Western dominance in global affairs and in global tariff system. Here BRIC stand for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And their aim basically it aims to promote fair global cooperation among developing nation and currently a term and that is South Global. It is in news because it refer to the developing nation only, the South Global, Global South or it is. So here we are discussing the basic facts of BRIC. It was founded in 16th of June 2009 officially, but informally it was founded in 2006. And currently there are two major events that is related with BRIC, and that is the BRICS Parliamentary Forum and the second one is BRIC Summit. And the last edition of the both event was hosted by the Brazil. Exactly, currently the BRIC nation, there are 10 members of BRIC including Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, UAE, and newly joined member, and that is Indonesia. Overall, BRICS recently announced the host country of the next edition, and that will be India, and that will be the 18th edition hosted by the India. And the India's hosting history. Previously, India has hosted the BRIC in 2012, 2016, and 2021. Overall, the theme of 2025 edition, and that is the theme inclusive and sustainable global governance it is, right? Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a major scheme, and that is the PM Poshan scheme. Previously, it was called the Midday Meal scheme, but PM Poshan has replaced the midday meal, and basically it comes under the Ministry of Education. Overall, it provides hot meals to children in a school and it serves 11.20 crore children in Bal Batikas and class 1st to 8 across 10.36 lakh schools in India. And the scheme basically it aims to fight hunger, improve nutrition, boost school attendance, and support classroom focus. Overall, the former name that is the midday meal scheme, and it was implemented in 1995. A point. So the launching year of midday meal scheme, and that is 1995. And further, it was replaced by the PM Poshan, implemented by Ministry of Education, and it is centrally sponsored scheme, and the target is to improve nutrition, boost enrollment in a school, and to achieve the attendance in a school, right? So basically, with this question, here we are discussing a other scheme because the name is Poshan Abhiyan, and just because of the word Poshan, I am discussing it here. So basically, Poshan Abhiyan it is implemented by the Ministry of Child and Women Development and the current cabinet minister of it, and that is the Annapurna Devi. And the target area of Poshan Abhiyan, basically the adolescent girls, pregnant women, and children of the age of 0 to 6 year. And basically, the funding pattern for Poshan Abhiyan under the Ministry of Women, and that is the 6:4 ratio shared between state and center, and in a special category the ratio is 9:10 in the case of Himalayan state and northeastern state. Overall, in 2021, the mission Poshan Abhiyan 2.0 was also launched, and basically it is a supplementary nutrition program under the Poshan Abhiyan by the Ministry of Women. All right, moving on. Now we are discussing the major current affairs of 9th and 10th of July 2025. And they are the first one. Which country is the host of 18th BRICS Summit 2026? Already we discussed it, and the country is India, we all know. So, India will chair BRICS in 2026, and BRICS nations have officially supported India's chairmanship for the 18th BRICS Summit. And a point, they also backed India's bid to host the 33rd COP to the UNFCCC in 2028. Here, the UNFCCC, it stands for United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is focused on climate change activity, and their major annual summit, and that is the COP. Currently, the ongoing edition of COP, that is 29, and that is also hosted by the Brazil. And here, the interest of India to host the 33rd edition of COP by the UNFCCC agreement and recently backed by the BRIC nation. And that's why it was in news. Overall, a major update here, the China and Russia supported India's permanent membership, and that will be in the United Nations Security Council, and also recognized India's Startup Knowledge Hub initiative. So, a boost to India. Recently, in BRICS Summit, the UNSC permanent seat and the hosting right of COP33 was in news in favor of India. Overall, here we are discussing the United Nations Security Council just because of India's interest to be a permanent member of the UNSC. So, the BRICS summit this year was very special for India because here India recently described its intention to be a permanent member of United Nations Security Council and its interest to host COP33 in 2028. And we have the support of BRIC nation in this interest of India. Overall, UNSC, United Nations Security Council, it is one of the main organ of United Nations. Here, total there are six organ of United Nations, and the one of the main organ, that is Security Council, it was established in 1945 under UN Charter Act. Currently, there are some 15 member of UNSC, but here is a twist: 5 permanent and the 10 non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. The permanent members are the China, France, Russia, UK, and the USA. And the non-permanent members, basically they include some 10 members elected for 2 years only. And it's a rotating chairmanship of United Nations Security Council in the terms of 10 members. Here we are discussing a group, and that is the G4 members. Currently, the G4 members include Brazil, Germany, India, and Japan. Basically, they are the countries who have the intention to be a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, and that's why they formed a group, and that is G4. And they are Brazil, Germany, India, and Japan. And their aim to support each other for the permanent UNSC seat. But here a opposing group also, and that is Uniting for Consensus. Basically, it include Pakistan, Italy, Mexico, South Korea, and basically it is dominated by the Italy. Basically, they oppose the extension of United Nations Security Council, overall the permanent seat extension. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a major river, and that is the river Seine. And currently it was in news, and exactly located in which country, and that country is France. Basically, it is the second longest river of France after the Loire River of France. Currently, it was in news because swimmers returned to the river Seine in France after 100 years since it closed in 1923. The Total length of the Seine River, it is some 775 kilometer, making it France's second longest river, right? And the Loire River, it is the first largest river of the France. Moving on, the next one. Basically, here we are discussing a commission that is for minority, that is NCM, the National Commission for Minorities. And basically, it is a statutory body under which ministry, and that ministry is Ministry of Minority Affairs. And recently, the cabinet minister is the Kiran Rijiju. He is also handling the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. So, the National Commission for Minority has no chairperson or member since April 2025 after their retirement. And that's why it was in news, just because that their post is vacant. NCM basically it is statutory body under the Ministry of Minority Affairs formed to protect minority interest. It originated as Minority Commission in 1978 and became statutory under the National Commission for Minority Act 1992. And the NCM advises central and state governments on minority welfare and builds confidence among minority communities. The goal of NCM. Overall, officially it was enacted in 1992, and the implementing ministry, basically which ministry oversees the National Commission for Minorities in India, and that is the Ministry of Minority Affairs. Overall, here we are discussing some points of Ministry of Minority Affairs. A newly formed ministry it is, and it was formed in 2006. Currently, the cabinet minister, basically the Kiran Rijiju, and a point who was the first minister of Minority Affairs of India, and that is A.R. Antulya. A very important point. A.R. Antulya, he is the first minister of Minority Affairs at that time in 2006, the PM, and that was Manmohan Singh. So, which Indian PM inaugurated the Ministry of Minority Affairs? And that is the Manmohan. Hope this question is clear. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a ballistic missile, and that is Air Laura. And basically, it is an advanced air launched ballistic missile developed by which country? And that country is Israel. So recently, a major procurement MOU between two countries, and they are India and Israel. So from India, the Indian Air Force is planning to acquire Air Laura to strengthen its long-range strike power. Overall, here Air Laura stands for Air Launched Long Range Attack Missile. It is developed by Israel Aerospace Industry for advanced air to ground mission, and it targets high value and well defended asset like command center, air bases, and naval bases. Overall, the manufacturing country is Israel, and exactly by Israel Aerospace Industry. And just because of recent procurement MOU between India and Israel, that was in news. Moving on, the next one. So basically, here we are discussing a major treaty, and currently India is opposing it, and that's why it was in news. So, International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture was adopted by which organization? And that organization is option number C, FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. It is. So, FAO has adopted a treaty, and that is International Plant Treaty, and India joined it in 2002, and FAO formed it in 2001. Basically, the purpose of this international treaty on plant, and that is to protect seed, promote fair use, and share benefits globally. And their meeting location currently was in Peru on 7th of July. And basically, just because of a recent proposal, it was in news, and India was in against. And the proposal is all countries must share all type of plant seeds freely, and the concern point of India that this will harm farmers' freedom to use and exchange seed. It will hurt farmer and gives control to the outsider for the Indian origin seed, and that is the concern point of India and the farmers, and that's why India is opposing the proposal that is recently initiated by the International Treaty on Plant in Peru. And here Kerala, basically they are saying agriculture is a state matter and should be consulted. And there, the international treaty, there must not be any influence of this treaty on Indian seed variety and their exchange with other nations. And that's why it was in news. Overall, we have to remember International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources, officially adopted in 2001, and the implementing bodies United Nations, FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, it is. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a major board, and that is AERB, the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board it is, and the headquarter. Basically, it is located in Mumbai. Recently, it was in news because recently the AERB it granted an operating license for two indigenous 700 megawatt electric pressurized heavy water reactors at Kakrapar Atomic Power Station located in Gujarat. And that's why it was in news. So recently Gujarat has received the license from the AERB for their two indigenous 700 megawatt heavy water reactors located in Gujarat. Overall, here we are discussing the AERB. It is India's top nuclear and radiation safety regulator, and their mission is to ensure nuclear energy and ionizing radiation that do not harm people or the environment. And their headquarters it is in Mumbai, and the establishment year and that is 1983. Overall, you have to remember the 700 megawatt reactor that is associated with Kakrapar Atomic Power Station, and its exact location is Gujarat. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing the first female president of a country, and her name is Jennifer Gerling Simons. And recently, he elected as the president of Suriname. Suriname, basically, it is a major South American country. And recently, the Suriname has elected its first female president, and that is Jennifer Gerling Simons by a two-thirds vote in parliament in her favor. Overall, here we are discussing a country, and that is Suriname. Basically, it is located in South America and the continent's smallest nation by area. And Paramaribo, it is the capital of the Suriname. Point to be remembered, the capital Suriname, the capital of Suriname, and that is the Paramaribo. And also, it is a UNESCO site, officially entered in 2000. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a major sport personality, and that is Harvinder Singh. Basically, he is a Paralympic, and recently Harvinder Singh won which medal in the individual category at the Asian Para Archery Championship 2025, and that is gold medal. So recently, the Asian Para Archery Championship was in news. The recent host country, and that is Beijing, China. And recently in Beijing, the Paralympic Harvinder Singh won the gold medal in the individual category and the game event, and that is the recurve men's open. Overall, he defeated the player of the Thailand with a score of 7-1 in the final, and marking his first individual gold in last 6 years. Overall, Harvinder Singh, he is a two-time Paralympic medalist. So, in which year did Harvinder Singh win his first Paralympic medal? And that year is 2018. And exactly he belongs from Punjab, India. Moving on, the next one. Now we are discussing a major index that is related with the Sustainable Development Goals achievement. We all know here the 17 SDG are and their achievement goal, the target year, and that is 2030. And recently in India, a index, and that is for analysis of Northeastern region SDG goals, and recently released by the Niti Ayog. So recently the NER, the Northeastern Region District Sustainable Development Goal Index 23-24 edition it was, and recently was released by the Niti Ayog and the associated ministry, and that is the Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region. And basically the Sustainable Development Goal officially implemented by the UNDP. So this index has a support of UNDP as well. So as per this index, 85% district of northeastern region showed an increase in composite scores compared to the previous edition. All districts in Mizoram, Sikkim, and Tripura achieved front runner status and scores, and their scores basically it is between 65 and 99 as per this index. And a district that is from Mizoram, and that is Nathial, it was in news because it topped the region, the northeastern region, with a score of 81.43, while another district from Arunachal Pradesh, and that is Longding, scored the lowest, and that is 58.71 in this index by the Niti Aayog. Overall, you have to remember the index that is based on the Sustainable Development Goal, and recently it was published by the Niti Aayog with the support of United Nations Development Program, the UN. Here we are discussing the Niti Aayog. Officially, it was launched in Jan 1st, 2015, and it replaced the Yojana Aayog. And who was the first CEO of Niti Aayog? And that is Sindhu Shri Khullar, the point to be remembered. And what is the full form of Niti Aayog? And that is National Institution for Transforming India. Overall, here we are discussing the other organization, the international organization, and that is the UNDP, United Nations Development Program. Basically, it was founded in some 1965, and they have a target for 2030 to achieve the 17 Sustainable Development Goal. Moving on, the next one. Now here we are discussing a major group of islands that was in news, and that is Tokara, and basically are located in the Japan country. And recently some over 1,000 earthquakes have shaken the Tokara Islands in the southern Japan in the past 2 weeks of this July, creating an seismic situation in the area. Overall, the Tokara Island, they are a small archipelago located south of the Kyushu Island. So, associated island, and that is the Kyushu of Japan, the exact location of Tokara Island. Basically, it includes some 7 inhabited islands, just like Kuchinoshima and like Gazazima, the group of Tokara Islands. Just because of the recent earthquake, it was in news.